Hello all, this week we're going to be reviewing / discussing Crime 101. Will you be able to buy Chris Helmsworth as a nervous wreck of a man who's weird around women? Neither could I. Stick with us and find out. Hello and welcome to Middle Aged Geeks. I'm your host Phil, joined as always by my co-host Daz. And this week we are going to be discussing Crime 101. So Daz, I'm going to do a bit of a synopsis, a little bit about the movie, and then get your initial thoughts, and then we'll jump into some specifics then. So the synopsis for this one is: an elusive thief eyeing his final score encounters a disillusioned insurance broker at her own crossroads. As their paths intertwine, a relentless detective trails them, hoping to thwart the multi-million-dollar heist they are planning. And we'll come back to that later, because that's how they sell it in the trailer, and their lives barely intertwine at all. So this one is directed by Bart Layton, who also wrote the screenplay based on a novel by Dan Winslow. Seriously stacked cast, which is Chris Helmsworth, as I said, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, Halle Berry, Monica Barbaro, Corey Hawkins, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and the desiccated corpse of Nick Nolte. And it must be the smallest role ever, actually, for Jennifer Jason Leigh. Yeah. But Jennifer Jason Leigh's only got one scene. It's wild.
Yeah.
So look, that's kind of a little bit about it. We'll speak more as we get through it. But give me your initial thoughts on this one, Daz.
Yeah, I just got out of this a few hours ago, and it's fine. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I think sometimes that's the most frustrating kind of movie, because there's so much going for this movie. It's like, as you said, all-star cast. It's kind of polished direction. The plot is structured pretty good. I thought the score was great, and some of the cinematography is great. Some of it is not that great, but the movie never becomes great. It kind of just sits there, competent and solid, but it's kind of filled with trope after trope, archetypal characters. The characters never quite intertwine and have scenes together as much as the trailer would suggest, which it just had me begging for more. And yeah, it's weird, because this would be a lot more fun, I think, to watch if it was terrible. But it's just kind of okay. A movie like this that is has the same DNA as a film like Heat. You cannot escape the comparisons that I know Heat is an absolute all-time classic. It's unfair to equate this to this or put it in the same ballpark, but a movie like that from 30 years ago really showcases how kind of mid-tier a lot of this is, but still competent enough. It's an enjoyable watch. How about yourself? What do you think?
Yeah, I actually thought we were going to be miles apart, because I remember when we talked at the trailer, you're like, oh yeah, I'm excited for this one. And I was like, oh, because I walked out going, man, if he really loved this, then we're going to have a nice big disagreement, because I wasn't really a fan. I think from a technical point of view, yeah, it fucking looks great. We'll get into more around the score and stuff, which I really enjoyed. But I enjoyed that. The cast, is immense. It's a fantastic cast, but it's so derivative. Like there's just so many more interesting little plots that they could go in that they don't. Like the character development and the relationship between these characters is just it's so paper thin. I think, like I mentioned at the start, like this whole thing, the trailer and the synopsis sells it that it's this kind of thing about Halle Berry's character getting intertwined with Chris Hemsworth's kind of cool and suave character and stuff. But they don't really have that much scenes together. Like they're barely. It's ages into the movie before that happens. The trailer sells you something, I think, very different than what the movie is. I just think that there's just so much interesting stuff that they could do in this. Like they mentioned in the trailer, that crime's all happening along the 101, and this detective who really, is drilled down and obsessed with it, and the others don't really believe him and stuff. That's a really cool angle, but that kind of goes out the window. Like for all the crimes that happen on the 101, we don't even fucking see any of them.
There's nothing. Like it starts with him kind of like.
Oh, the starts is awesome though. That is good. That's the funny best part. Like.
Excellent, but in terms of his story, it starts with the heist that not so much went wrong, but it didn't go as perfect as he's supposed to be meticulous and doesn't hurt anyone, or he's in and out and no one suspects him. There's so many just like tropes on show here, like the one last job thief, the obsessive gruff cop. Mark Ruffalo playing the exact same character as he does in Task, a TV show, and and it's the cop with the hunch. He's got the hunch, and no one believes him in the fucking department, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake! And then you get the chaotic, mad wildcard Barry Keoghan, who's he injects a load of life into it when he comes into it, but it's kind of like this. It's still kind of, he's impressive, but it's kind of one note because he doesn't have scenes with anybody. He doesn't do anything. He just goes around. Oh, I've got to. How many times is he going to open the fucking motorcycle helmet? It's me again. It's just like fucking hell. And then Halle Berry is the woman caught between like ambition and compromise. But her turn, and we won't go into spoilers, but her kind of turn is essentially because she's not been made partner in a really successful insurance firm. Like, I don't know, that's a bit of a stretch to kind of like, right, I'm going to become a criminal because my misogynistic boss won't give me a fucking promotion. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, it's just, that's paper thin, like completely.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, look, why did we talked at the intro about the stuff that we did enjoy. So let's talk about performances, because like let's start with Chris Helmsworth, because obviously he's the main star of the show. Like, I just, it's so hard to, I know it may sound shallow or something, but it's so hard to get this big dude who's, we've used to seeing playing Thor. Like, he's like the women's have him as the most sexiest man of all time. And you see him awkward around women and stuff. It's like, get fucking grip. Like, and I get it. I'm not saying mental health issues can affect absolutely everybody, and his are because he had a rough upbringing that we get fuck all information about, even towards the very end. Still get fuck all about it. So, yeah, he's not as mysterious as he is just fucking annoying. Like, just tell us what the fuck's going on with you. But it's just they're trying to play down his absolute charisma, and obviously his more recent turns into like comedic stuff, and he's fucking such a funny actor and a funny guy. But like they kind of not so much, they just subtract it all and just say, yeah, he's kind of introverted and awkward and all this. And he's just a boring fucker, like, it's just like. But that's it, because they don't try to dress him to make him seem a little bit geeky. Could do, as I mentioned in the previous episode, do a she's all that with him. Like, he's wearing stuff, as she mentions, I noticed your like $24,000 watch that you're wearing. He's wearing gold. He's fucking wearing black suits and stuff. Like, he looks like a fucking the business. He looks like a male model, and we're supposed to believe that he's awkward and he's like, come on. No,
and that's another one of these kind of archetypal tropes again. It's the guy who's the heist criminal who's got the, like, you know, the $20,000 watch and the suits and looks like fucking God's gift to women, but his life isn't all that. There's something empty, so he wants to fill it with, you know, romance and love. And it's just, even those scenes are just ridiculous. But then, like, because they play that he's not very confident and introverted and awkward around women. But later on, there's a scene, and his whole plan is centered around the fact that he can woo Halle Berry while she's picking up her car. And it's just like,
she's
a successful fucking businesswoman, and so is he introverted, or does he know he has this charm but he can't tap into it? It's just like, because that could be interesting as well if you just really tap into it, but you don't really know anything about him. Yeah, like because he's played down so much that he's just, I just thought he's fine, and he's a really good actor, but he's just,
I can't imagine he had much fun. It doesn't seem like a role he would have had fun with. No. You know, there's nothing really for him to have fun with. At least, as you said,
will you?
Well, let's jump on to Barry Keoghan, because as you said, you know, he doesn't have a massive amount of stuff to do. It is quite one note, but at least he can go fucking absolute ape shit, which he is doing. Now, that doesn't really fit with the character. The whole idea is that, you know, Nick Nolte's corpse, who is kind of the guy who works with, he's kind of the fixer, isn't he? He helps him set up these things, and it's all real. The way they, you know, change money and the way they talk about jobs and everything is real slick and done. Like, I don't. Why would Nick Nolte work with this guy Barry Keoghan, who is just a fucking fruitcake? Like, he's absolutely nuts.
How is he plan B to Chris Helmsworth? Because Chris Helmsworth, when they have that scene and he's just like, oh, it just doesn't seem right to Santa Barbara job or whatever, and it's like, okay, and he just completely pivots and goes, fuck it, like, you take the job and then you rob this guy, and it just, it's madness. It makes no sense. But Barry Keoghan he's brilliant and he's psychotic, but I don't know if I could take him serious as any fucking role in any movie ever again, because he just looks like an absolute psychopath. He doesn't have to do anything. He just looks absolutely mental. And it works for him brilliant, because you're kind of waiting for stuff to just absolutely fall apart when he attempts that first heist, and it's kind of glorious.
I think he looks fucking cool though. That motorbike helmet and that he has is fucking awesome. But it is a lot of stopping, it looks cool, pulling it up, and he's off the back and back down. But again, it's hard. He's wearing a helmet for a lot of his fucking scenes. I think kind of his maybe better scenes are the ones where he's as a waiter with any spoilers, but that kind of part, like that's kind of interesting, how he's getting into it. It's, it reminds me of kind of things like Hitman, where you goes in, you think of different ways to disguise yourself as you go all to do your hit. What about we mentioned Halle Berry, the woman that doesn't age. I absolutely love her, and
she's 60,
insane. But
stunning.
She's great, and I think I maybe would have liked to see. I mean, we get a hint at it, but I'd like to maybe see her Ruffalo, something more happen there, because it doesn't really make sense. Because this whole movie there's a ridiculous amount of coincidences. They all happen to pass by each other's car in this city of like, I don't know how many million are in LA, but on this thing, then in traffic, and all of them seem to have driven past each other at one stage. Come on, what are the fucking odds of this happening?
But she's great, she's great. She does a lot. She does a lot with little. Like she has some really nice scenes and stuff, but there's a couple of just great reaction shots, just simply when she's in the board meeting and she's kind of getting passed over for for clients and stuff like that, and she can't speak up, but it's just excellent acting in those moments. She's great. There's so much depth there, but the script doesn't really give her a lot more to do. I just wish she would have been in it and entangled really early on and have it at 300 kind of then with herself, Chris, and Mark Ruffalo, in terms of just make it a bit more intertwined and give them scenes together. Like Chris Helmsworth and Mark Ruffalo have like one proper, like maybe two scenes, and it's in the last fucking 10 minutes of the movie, and it's like, what? Come on.
I mean, we can go into some of the others, but I think that Jennifer Jason Leigh, that's ridiculous. That's literally one scene. She's in that one scene. What was the point? She's an amazing actor. I was raging. I thought that was her getting brought into the fold. I was like, sweet. But yeah, Nick Nolte. So we get to see him just for a couple of scenes. I'm not even sure if he's in the trailer, but God love him. He's losing his voice big time. You could kind of I remember that, even thinking that a little bit from Tropic Thunder, and that was fucking 20 years ago that it was ours. But God love him. He must be. What age is he? 80? What age do you reckon he is?
He must be up there, yeah. Because I remember when he was in Warrior with Tom Hardy, and playing his dad, and he was kind of gruff and the voice was kind of grown, but it was a sweet spot where he was just an absolute asshole, and he's a powerhouse of fucking actor. But every time I see him, you remember Eddie Murphy and 48 Hours and all these things. But yeah, he's fucking bits. It's like, lay off the smokes, man. Jesus Christ almighty. He's really struggling to get out his dialogue.
He's 85.
Wow. Jeez,
yeah.
Give that role to Gary Busey. Give that role to Gary Busey.
But I mean, fair play to him. I would hope that I still even have my wits about me at 85. That's fantastic. But it's just, again, that's kind of small little role. Was there any really need to have him there when he looks like he's struggling through it?
Yeah.
I would have maybe liked to see some more of their relationship. Because obviously they've gotten to the point where he's been doing these bank jobs for a long time, that, Thing has been obsessed with it for the last few years. They've got to be working together, to trust each other enough to this. I would have liked to have seen maybe the odd flashback or something of one of the previous jobs and some more information about that. That would flesh that out a little bit more, and maybe just take out all the scenes with Monica Barbaro, because as much as I like her, that they did fuck all to work in that relationship. It's really, again, I think it's like you said with Heath, they think trying to make him like the Robert De Niro kind of role, because we see him kind of going and coming back and all that kind of stuff. They're trying to do something similar to that, and
that's one of the things. And it's talking about the ending, but it's not really spoilerific. But it's like, towards the end when you have that, is he going to leave? Is he going to turn around? And I thought the end of the movie was start to movie is great. I thought the end of the movie, the last minute or two, it's just brilliant. There's a lovely kind of climax to all the characters' kind of stories. You get the lovely little moments, and it's kind of poignant, but it thinks that the audience and the viewer is far more invested in the story, because the ending is like, oh, this is kind of cool, but it's like, yeah, but we don't really kind of give a shit, but it's nicely put together. But and it just reminds you again of Heat, when you're just like, that relationship that Chris and herself have. It's kind of like it's there just to try and flesh out him, but it doesn't do that.
I actually thought when they have their meet up, I won't say how it happens, their meet cute, I thought that was a setup of some kind, because it just didn't, absolutely. It wasn't fitting in with what was going on with the movie. It was like, oh, this is something, this is getting some sort of setup, some sort of thing. Someone has an eye on him or whatever it is. I thought there was something else to it. because it just didn't fit. It just felt so awkward, like it was shoehorned in to the script to bring in the love interest, and it just didn't work. Let's have a look at maybe some of the technical stuff, because I thought that it did look fantastic. Bar a couple of the car chases. There was a car chase with Barry Keoghan and he's on the bike. It's the nighttime one, and I tried to count because there was so many cuts. I was watching it. I was like, okay, I'll count and see how long I get between each cut. So it was like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. And like just to see, it was just cut. Like, oh, come on! It was just so many of them. It was like, just show me his car fucking drifting, or show the fucking bike doing something cool. But it was just so many cuts.
Because I think is there like 2 car chases in it, but at the start, and the opening's so good, but there's like Chris Helmsworth, his character, he has a car chase with himself. Like after the thing goes wrong, the heist goes wrong, and he just escapes. But the people that he left are in a car, and they're not looking for him or after him or whatever, and no one knows that this has happened. But he just speeds off down the fucking road in his car, weaving through traffic and fucking power slides everywhere, and just chill out, just drive along in traffic. No one's looking for you. They don't know what your car looks like. And then you hear cops around the corner, and he's trying to hide them from them, and it's like, yeah, you caused that. It's because you're driving like a fucking maniac having a chase with yourself. I just thought it was fucking bananas, but that looked really cool, that chase.
Oh yeah, no, it did, yeah, and it's the cars in it, man. Some of the cars fucking gorgeous, he drives some absolute beauties.
But the fact that the movie opens with that cityscape, and I just love, for no reason at all, it just starts revolving,
turns upside down,
rotating around, and you're just kind of going, I'm loving that, and the music's great, and you have that kind of, this is fucking brilliant, completely pointless, but it's just like, it's just really cool. But it looked really good. Like, it's everyone who's pretty in the movie looks really pretty. Camera work and the car chases were kind of good. There's too many cuts in the other one. But there was a couple of shots in the hotel towards the end where you're just walking by a hotel lobby and you're actually looking at it going, did you just use the lights in the fucking hotel? And if you're filming in hotels look great to your eye, but it's all downlighting. It looks atrocious on camera. So obviously you need to fucking light it better. But it's like they kind of went, fuck it, we've only got 10 minutes to do this. We'll use the hall lighting. It just looked just muddy, and it was kind of, bizarre. That stuck out. And there was a few scenes like that where you're like, doesn't look as good as the rest of the movie. But it looked pretty sweet to me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of the soundtrack, I think, helps as well. With, like you said, that whole opening scene at the start, it looks great. The whole the cityscapes, and I think that the music has that real kind of what was it? It was Blank Mass was the composer.
Yeah.
But it has that real busy city, industrial vibe to it that really complements the kind of action scenes that we see. The action scenes are few and far between, but they really, I think the music really adds. It really gives it that city, city vibe, something that you'd get from, when you watch a movie that's fucking set in Miami or something like that, and straight away from the kind of flavor that you get, it's real something like that just gives you that glossy fucking rich bastard people fucking like crime heist thing. It was just a really good score for this type of movie, and I have to look into what else he's done, because I was pretty impressed by this now, so I'll have to see what other movies he's done.
Absolutely. There's just loads of moments where it's just ever present, and it's got that kind of slightly that melodic kind of percussive tones to ramp up the tension. And that was the one part where I thought it was very reminiscent of Heat in a complementary fashion. Like, I thought it elevated scenes and kind of bridges the transitions between scenes to keep the tension going. And I thought that was pretty fucking sweet. I really enjoyed that.
Do you know what the budget is? Would I be surprising you if I told you what the budget is for this?
Say like
90 million.
90? Fuck.
Yeah.
I was going to say about 40 or 50 or something. Yeah.
And even that would be high. Like 90 million is just huge money
crazy.
To be spent on this. Like, isn't it? Like,
there's this, because generally you're thinking action set pieces or shootouts, but there's like a little shootout at the end, a 3-person shootout, but then there's a kind of a heist in jewelers, which is pretty small scale. There's just that one kind of biggish chase sequence, but I mean, a lot of the time you kind of go, do they need to shut down the fucking city? And a lot of cost goes into that, but it was shot at night, could have been any fucking city. That's mad, 90 million.
Isn't it? Yeah,
a chunk of that. Like,
I think so. Yeah, it's got to be the old wage bill. Like,
not making that much money back at all.
Well, no, and I think unfortunately for them, like obviously I don't have all the figures because this only came out on Friday, but I know worldwide it made 4 million on Friday.
Shit.
So.
But it's a very it just screams Netflix movie when you're watching it in the cinema.
It's Amazon Studios, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Yeah, so it makes sense. It does have that feel to it, though.
It just doesn't have big cinema scale attraction at all.
Yeah, it's got to be the cast. Yeah, it really has. So before we do the spoilers, let's get a quick star rating for myself and yourself, Daz, for people who are ducking out here. What kind of star rating would you give this?
I'd give it 3. Because I don't think there's anything terribly wrong with it, but it's kind of okay. I just wish it was more. It's a frustrating watch in that regard, but anyone else could watch that and go, yeah, that was perfectly enjoyable fun. On the couch, absolutely 3 stars. In the cinema, probably 2.5. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think the same. I think especially the fact that it's 2 hours 20. This isn't one that I could just throw on Netflix to have it on. Like, it's a long movie. This could have been so much shorter. There's a good bit of bloat, and the fact that it's that long without exploring all these really interesting side plots that could be there. They've maybe give me a bit more about why Halle Berry's upset, and not just because she didn't get a partner. Give me more of a background on his growing up or his thing with Nick Nolte or Barry Keoghan. Give him any sort of background. Just show us more of Mark Ruffalo obsessing over this stuff for a year, because we're just being told about it. We're not actually seeing anything, and that's okay when it happens to 1 or 2 plot parts, but when it's all of the plot, it's just being filled in, and we're like, ugh. I just think there's so many really interesting avenues they could have taken that they didn't. Yeah, I think 3 is a fair start, just a regular old 3. It's fine. It looks great. Music's good. Beautiful people in it, but it's not like your cool, sexy fucking crime thing that's going to have twists and turns all over the place. Yeah, just rewatch Heat. Fucking fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay, well, look, if you're leaving us there, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we'll be back next week with another movie. Keep on liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. And we're going to move on to some spoilers now. So yeah, Daz, I mean, we can jump in wherever you want, because there's a bunch of them. I just, the whole character development thing, as you've mentioned in the spoiler-free section, especially with Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo has supposedly been on this guy's trail, obsessing to the point that his boss has given him shit. He's like, he hasn't solved any other cases in like fucking 2 years. Yeah. Like, he is just dialed in on this. And then when he finds out Halle Berry is involved as well, because it is a coincidence they end up in the same yoga class in the whole city of LA. I reckon there's a yoga class every fucking 3 buildings in LA. Fucking hot yoga, cold yoga, whatever the fuck. Like, anyway, they end up fucking she finds out that Chris Helmsworth is after getting her on board and all this kind of malarkey. And he tells her, well, you're going to be fucking accessory to grand larceny. Like, he's full on. He wants this fucking. And then when we get to the end, and like, he just lets Chris Helmsworth go. He steals evidence, like the fake diamonds. He robs the real diamonds. Like, hang on a second.
Why? 3 or 6 million quid?
Yeah, it was 3 million was the ones that were stuck to your man's leg. Was 3 million. I don't know if they're the same ones.
Just gives them to Halle Berry.
And he just gives them to Halle Berry. Here, something they don't open them in here, but here. Like, you've just robbed 3 million. What the fuck is going on? And then they have a bit of a flirt, and maybe I'll see you again next yoga class. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And how did they know that she's not going to absolutely flip out when she opens them up and goes, what the fuck? You've given me 3 million quid's worth of fucking stolen goods. So she's
I hate moments like that where Mark Ruffalo is on the bus after he steals them, and he opens them on the bus. Like, don't fucking open them on a bus. You go over a fucking ramp or a bump. Like, you open 3 million quid's worth of.
You're telling her not to look at them in the yoga class, and you're happy opening them on the fucking bus. Like.
But it's the thing with Chris Helmsworth as well. It's like the fact that there's the 3-person shootout in Barry Keoghan, and that is a moment where Barry shines, and there is that he just brings the intensity to that sequence, even though you know exactly what the fuck's going to happen. But it's still, he's just like, fucking, stop looking at me, it's just absolutely fucking maniac. And then when he looks like he's where Barry's about to shoot Mark Ruffalo, and then, you get a splatter of blood in his face, and it's like, oh God, is he dead? No, he's not. Chris Helmsworth killed him. So then you're just like, there is that like awkward moment, and you're hoping plot-wise, you're just like, ooh, what's going to happen? Because surely he couldn't just let him go, like, because he's been chasing this guy. But there's a line of dialogue, and I don't know if he actually says it or if it's ADR. Maybe he says it, but he just kind of goes, it's almost for the audience, he whispers, he was going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
so that's just letting us know that's the setup that gives Mark Ruffalo the absolute complete turn of character to go, you know what you do? You get out of here and you don't come back here. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, that's just, it's lazy, but it's also just like, come on. Like, that's not what his character would do. There's no reason. They don't have a relationship. They met each other 10 minutes ago in the back of the fucking car. It's not like Heat where there is this ongoing, like, there's a hunt and they kind of, I know it's you and rather, and they have the coffee shop scene and it builds up so much to a beautiful crescendo in that. Where here it's like, you don't even know this fucking guy. You technically saved me from Barry Keoghan, but you also saved yourself because he's going to murder you as well. It's like, it's a stretch.
Like you said, like you said about the character, like this character, again, you know, he's a great cop. He's trying to do the right thing, blah, blah, blah. When he lets Chris Evans go, he makes the other guy who was trying to rob, who Barry Keoghan shot, he makes him an accomplice and his fiance an accomplice by saying, you know, you're going to have to lie and pretend that other guy wasn't here and that this is what happened. You're going to have to lie. So he makes both of them lie about this fucking massive grand theft. He lies himself. He also has to pretend someone else shot Barry Keoghan. So he has to plant a gun and say this either he or someone else shot them. Where did that gun come from? That has to be done. And then he lets the actual thief who's robbed hundreds of millions over all of this that he's been chasing. He's let him get away. And then he's robbed the diamonds for himself and given them to Halle Berry. Like he's worse than Chris Helmsworth. Like it's unreal.
He is, and that's the thing. That's the weird. It's not like even a turn or a twist. It's like this makes no sense because this is the guy the directors had us fucking rooting for 2 hours and fucking 10 minutes that he's the one good cop. All the other cops are like, no, they're on about statistics and stop opening cases, whatever, because we need our clearance rate and all this kind of stuff. And he's the one good cop. And he just does all the bad shit at the end. It's just like, okay, but yeah, okay.
But it's all worth it because Chris Helmsworth leaves him a car. Like you see him, they're just going to stare together. And next thing he gets a message. Yeah, it just gets a message going. And it's a picture of for the cop. And he's like, I didn't even know his name.
Doesn't even know his name.
Yeah, and then he just goes to the address and then walks into this car park and there's a gorgeous classic car there waiting for him. And he drives off laughing because what happened to his car? Why is he even on the fucking bus in the first place? So he's off then, and they make a big show at the start because of it. They go, God, why didn't you get your man? His partner says like, you need to get rid of that car. I hate driving around in that car, and starts slagging him over it. So then later on, when they can make a big deal about him getting a new one, and it's just ridiculous. He's laughing as it fades to white as he drives off.
Yeah, what the fade to white was weird. It's like, where the fuck is this going?
It's like, is he dead? Why is it fading to white?
Is this a dream? Yeah, which is such a shame because that ending is, I liked kind of, maybe it's just kind of the music and the pacing of it. It was building up to something. But if you just think about the preceding 2 hours for fucking 10 seconds, you just go, what the fuck? It's just, it's a bit kind of nonsense.
And I think they kind of almost, they actually, we've said already it's derivative, I'm sure they're fully aware of how derivative it is. Like at one point, they actually even mention, Thomas Crown Affair. Like he actually even says, because Thomas Crown Affair, it's about, and he says, oh, it's about her great, blah, blah. In that scene where they're doing chauffeur and passenger. And he says, because there's actually some stuff in this that are, the way he ends up with the girl and all that kind of stuff is all, loads of that stuff is taken from it. So it's very on the nose, but it's one thing when it's derivative, but it pulls off something really cool and you can go, okay, that's fine. This doesn't, it's just trope with just amazing actors. If they weren't in it, you'd be going like, ugh, I don't even bother. We would have bothered seeing it really. It'd just be a movie. There's nothing amazing about it.
Yeah. And that's why there's like very, very few movies even come close to topping, something like Thomas Crown Affair, the original and the remake, and fucking Heat. It's like the fact that you're talking about a 30-year-old movie when you're watching this, just shows how that genre has kind of died a little bit because people are just terrified because there's nothing. There has to be new stories to fucking tell. I don't know. Just
I think I think I agree. Like, what story are you trying to tell here? You know, what is it about this kind of super guy who wants to thief, who's, you know, and the cop that's trying to chase him, or is it about, you know, Halle Berry's character? Because they barely intertwine. Like you said, there's not really any cat and mouse, because in Heat, they both, the main guy, you know, both Pacino and De Niro, they know about each other. They know he's the main cop on the case. They know he knows and there's this respect between them, between the two characters. They have respect for each other. They don't even, Chris Evans doesn't even know who Mark Ruffalo is. He picks him up thinking because he stands in place of the courier at one point. So he's the chauffeur, doesn't realize he's got a cop in the back seat. So you're not getting cat and mouse when one of them doesn't even know that he's playing the game, you know?
And that's that when they finally meet in the back of the, when he's chauffeuring him around, like it's like the script is kind of building up to this. Oh, now they meet and there's this tense kind of scene. It's like, it's not tense at all. Cause like Ruffalo knows who he is, but and he looks kind of on edge, and it's like, but there's no tension because Chris Helmsworth has no fucking clue what's going on.
It's actually just a nice conversation. Like, it's two guys talking about, I've always wanted a Mustang. Oh, me too. I love American cars. What's your favorite movie? It's just two guys broing down. It's like me making small talk with the taxi driver on the way from the airport. Like, just, I don't want to talk to you. Like, it's just, no tension. I think you're bang on there. So look, thanks very much for sticking around. We'd be very interested to hear what you think of it. Send us a message or an email or a comment or whatever. Keep on liking and subscribing. That's a 3 stars we're giving this one, Crime 101. So look, we will see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later.